I was kind of congested the last couple of days, so I took Sudafed. You know, it's one of those progression kind of things, so I took Sudafed. Well, that leaves you dried out, right? It's part of getting old here, the progression. So I woke up all dried out, terribly thirsty, but man, I was dragging. So I had an energy drink. Well, then I was still thirsty, so I had another energy drink. And then I got here and had 2 cups of coffee. Man, Pastor Allen's in Kansas City right now. I think I could run to Kansas City and back before he even gets back. I'm kind of wired this morning. All right, everybody stand up for a second. Sorry, I just totally killing the mood of what Tyler and our worship team just set up. Thank you for leading us in worship. All right, everybody standing? All right, here's a little Christmas test. There's some folks still sitting down back there. You can stand, it's okay. Everybody gets in on this game. This is a game my mom used to lead us through in kids' church. All right? If you watched It's a Wonderful Life this season, sit down. Oh, that's actually a few more than I thought. If you did watch it, sit down. Okay? If you drank some eggnog this Christmas, sat down. We don't drink eggnog anymore. There's like 3 of you that drank eggnog. No, I lost it for eggnog. No. If you sang some Christmas carols at your home with your family, have a seat. That's actually several of you that did that. Okay, here's one that I experienced. If you bought a Christmas gift for someone and you still can't remember where it is, sit down. Someone just told me this morning of a gift that they lost. I told them, just save it until next year. Nobody did that one? Okay. All right. If you ate way too much in one meal and then went and sat down and like completely fell asleep, sit down. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. If you went shopping already and returned something already, sit down. Oh, we got some discontent receivers there that had to return their stuff. Okay. If you skipped the Christmas Eve service at church, sit down. Okay. If you celebrated like I did after Christmas that gas prices dropped 50 cents, and that was like your Christmas gift, sit down. One person, okay. John celebrated that. Are you catching that? John celebrated that. He gets good gas. He's the blind guy. Are you getting that? He's the one who likes cheap gas as he's driving. Oh, God bless him. Yeah. If you spent time with your grandkids, sit down. Okay, we got about 4 or 5 left. Okay, these people that remain standing, look at them. They did not experience Christmas this year. Okay, you can sit down too. Tyler, Bree, I mean, come on, what's going on? You guys didn't even have Christmas this year. Thank you. Okay. Actually, Pastor Tyler hosted Christmas this year for his first time. Did you know that his mom has a twin? You did know that? Okay, pause for a second. All right, how's that? That work a little better? Okay, good. Now I can really get active up here because I don't have this cord holding me down. It was a great Christmas for us. We didn't do a lot. We didn't really go anywhere. And in fact, the schedule was so light, I decided to kind of get some work done, and I planned on taking time off, but it was good. It was great. But this is always an odd time for me, right between Christmas and New Year's. It's also the time when all the staff leaves and goes on vacation, and I'm the one who doesn't have a life, so I'm still always going to be around. So Pastor Jerry's in Ohio. Pastor Allen is down in Kansas City. He sent me a picture this morning. Man, I wish I had gotten that in the slideshow. Pastor sent me a picture of the kids and him jumping in the leaves. The kids look like they're jumping. He looks like an old man falling. I told him, I said, you look like you're falling. He says, I'm both sneezing and falling at the same time. But he's enjoying his time with them. It's a kind of an odd time, though, because, as pastors, our tendency, or within the church, the tendency is to, typical in our culture, let's look at New Year's resolutions. In fact, probably pretty consistent with what you've heard at least once before is 2025 stunk. Oh, aren't you glad 2025 is over? Whew, let's move on, right? Or maybe it's been just the opposite. Man, 2025 has been great, and it's what will 2026 have in store? But yet, it's kind of like you're on that cuff of, well, we have to wrap up. I mean, we can't just completely ignore the fact that Jesus was just born. Well, Christmas is over. Take down the tree, take off the bulbs, put away the decorations. It's like Christmas just, bam, it's the 26th. It's done. So, how do you finish up on that Christmas thing and move into the New Year's? When do you start the transition? Do we finish up? Is this the week where we talk about the Magi? Because they didn't come, they weren't there on Christmas Day. We know that. They came a while later, so we got time. Magi at least came, just before, just beginning of January. No, that's not what. Where do we go with this? So for me, it's difficult sometimes. We have to look forward, we look back. It's kind of a both and kind of thing. I wasn't much for math when I was growing up. I did like geometry, though. I still use some geometry. I would have never thought that I would. It's one of those things that you just assume, as you're a teenager or in college, you're asking, when in the world am I ever going to use this? It's pointless. It's worthless, right? And then you find that moment when you use it. It's like, wow, that 4-year education, that actually paid off. I just paid like thousands of dollars for this one time that I'm going to use this now. I use geometry once in a while. We're figuring out angles when we're cutting trim or building things, doing things like that. I did BMX freestyle tricks and stuff, and did these tricks on my bike when I was growing up. You may remember I lost my teeth, just like a year ago. It was like a year-long process that I didn't have teeth, and then I had this retainer thing and implants. And if anybody ever recommends you get a dental implant, punch them in the face, knock out their teeth, and tell them, you go first. No, it was miserable, terrible. I thought I would go in and walk out with a new tooth, and it was like a year and a half later before I got this implant done. Well, I did BMX tricks, and apparently I'm not very good at it because I flipped over my bike and busted out my front teeth, and good grief, now it's hitting me like we get the bugs up here. But I was doing these tricks, and so one of the tricks that I would do was a 360. A 360 is, being able to flip all the way around, and, it's not just in bikes, it's snowboarding and skiing and all these other tricks. Hayden and I, we all watch motocross, and they do 360s, and they do all these tricks. And so 360, geometry. Remember, it's 360. It's a full circle. It's all the combined angles of an object, and you put those numbers together, and you get 360. So in geometry, 360 is that equivalent, that it equals that full circle, or the continuation of that. Is it all coming back to you? Remember that? Remember some of this geometry? But I've seemed to notice that it's widely recognized even now in our culture, here today, in our culture, but it's beyond just geometry, it's beyond extreme sports. We know this term or this identity, 360. It seems to be synonymous with words like complete, or words like full. Some examples: 360 cameras, right? With security, we often have 360 cameras that monitor the roads, that monitor the expressways. We have a camera right here. I'm going to see if I can get our camera team to play around with this a little bit. They did this at Christmas Eve service. Can you take this camera right here and see how the camera is turning? This one actually, Jerry told me this one only does technically 260 degrees. But see, the camera can turn. See right there? I know this is a little weird. You don't know this because you're sitting in here, but this is what they show online, and then they zoom in. When you fall asleep, they zoom in on you and put you online that you're falling asleep. Yeah. if you're on Facebook, we'll be able to see how it's a full angle. See how it pivots. And this is not something new to us. So that looks like more than 260 to me that Jerry said. It's 360. It's a full view of everything, right? So that's cameras. But okay, anybody heard of Life 360? Anybody have it? I don't have that particular app. I use the Apple version. But Life 360 is an app that allows you to be able to see. Now, I'm not talking it's like a camera, but the idea of Life 360 is to be able to see where, see what. It's like it gives you a distant view. Well, like a satellite view. You know, if you can look on Google, there's Street View. I'm weird like that, but I love hopping on and just looking at the Google cameras. It's fascinating to me. You can click on Street View, and I'll click on a house, and then if you turn to the side, you can click on the arrow, and you walk next door, and I can look at the neighbor's house, and then and you can just walk down a street looking at all the houses. It's Street View. But there's a different angle, a 360 view, a different one, satellite view is what it's called, and you can back up from that. Anybody hop on satellite view and look at your own house? I don't know why. I look every once in a while, and as I click on it, it's like, oh, I remember when I had that car, or that's before I did that landscaping, or, oh, man, they caught me in the fall when the grass was really brown. Or you look at someone else's house, it's a satellite view. It's a different view. It's akin to the concept of that satellite, a more complete, a more comprehensive understanding of something. It's not just literally physical view. So to come full circle with something means to make a complete reversal. 360 tells us it's that cycle. You know, we also probably know a 180, right? A 180 is not looking forward, it's to make a complete shift and a complete opposite. But 360 brings us all the way back around again. It brings us full circle. It's absolute. It's comprehensive. I think it seems to be ingrained in us, kind of our nature, instinctive to know, to be in the know, to have. Eve just wanted to see. Eve just wanted to be in the know. When she wasn't looking to rule the world, but she just wanted to know what God knew. It was kind of instinctive. I like to have details. I also like to see details. Maybe this is just me. Maybe this is guys. Males, I mean. I don't know how it is. But has anybody ever read something to you, and the moment they read it to you, you can't comprehend a single thing that they read to you, and what's the first thing that we say in response? Oh, let me see. I don't hear you. I need to see it. I need to read it for myself. I like to have details. We're probably all like that in some way. We like the extra camera views. Somebody broke into my vehicle years ago. Well, that just launched it. They took nothing but quarters. They left all the tools that were of value. They left all my almost said all my, not my drugs that I had in my vehicle. I have EpiPens, and they left the medications that I have that they could have sold for and they took my quarters. That got to me. They took my car wash quarters is the only thing they took. But I decided to get a camera. I couldn't get one camera. I needed to get like 8 cameras. So now all the way around my house, I can watch the squirrels as they're running, dancing around in my yard. I got to see all the different angles, right? We kind of like that tendency to have this fullness, this complete. I think David, though, gives us a greater understanding, though, of what 360 really looks like. It's so much bigger than our culture has led us to understand and comprehend. Okay, so there's our intro. Let's look at the book of Psalms. You have some notes if you want to follow along in your notes. The scripture we have up here on this, I actually clicked on this when I was preparing, and I use YouVersion for my Bible app, and I was listening. I did the what do you call it? I'm drawing blank. What's that? The audio. Yeah, I did the audio version. So I was listening to this again and again. And all 3 versions, oh my goodness, it reads terrible. I can't stand how they read this because I felt like they were reading it headed into a funeral. But this is David pretty excited here, pretty
grateful about what he's experienced, what he's experiencing, and what he is seeing that he's going to experience. So let's read this together. You've searched me, Lord, and you know me. You've searched me and you know me. You know when I sit. You know when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. Not just you can read my face. See, some of us do well at that, especially if you've been married a number of years. You can speak to each other without even using any words. You can read your child's face. You know when your kid is hurting. You know when your kid is excited. You know when they're happy. You just get it. It's just called relational intelligence. We get to read people. And when we become socially intelligent, we can see and we can know and we can communicate without even hearing words. God is the one that defined that. He knows you. He knows everything. He perceives your thoughts. You discern my going out and my lying down. You're familiar with all of my ways. He knows your sleep patterns. He knows what makes your buttons go. He knows what your triggers are. He knows everything about you. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. Oh, isn't that frustrating when people do that? Before you can even say something, they already know what you're going to say. Now, this can be bad in our case because often that is we cut them off and we speak before they get a chance to say something. That's not this version. God knows your thoughts in such a way that before you could turn the thought into words that come out of your mouth, he already knew the thought. So before you need to clean it up or before you want to, shift it around and make I don't want to say that. He already knows what you were thinking long before it ever came out of your mouth. He knows all of those details. You hem me in behind and before you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. It's too big. And if you think you've got this and you've got it all figured out and you can comprehend this, wrong. You can't. This is bigger than you can even imagine. Keep going. Too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go to the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in the depths, you're there. The highs, the lows. Heaven and not so heaven. There's contrast in there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. You're there. When it's going good, you're there. When things are rough, you're there. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light becomes night around me, even in the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. Even in the middle of the darkness, you're not just present. See, God isn't just in the darkness, sitting over in the shadows in the corner, making himself hidden. He's taking on a little silent role in the background. No, he's active. He can't be in the darkness without him being so bright. Boom! He's going to light up any darkness. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. See, are you hearing this concept, this understanding? When you even begin to slightly grasp his character and who he is, which he made it. We just read that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. We're made in his image. So his intention for us is to live a full and complete life. There's going to be darkness, there's going to be light. There's going to be high and there's going to be low. But that's full. It's complete. It's 360. It's not just 180 life. I'm a 180 guy. I believe, I will preach all day long. We make a 180 and we turn from our sin and we make that choice. That, Lord, I no longer choose to live like that. I no longer choose sin. My natural choice is now going to be to do the right thing. If you were we were looking through the Beatitudes this morning in Sunday school, to choose righteousness. That becomes our natural tendency. And that's what Jesus preached. I choose 180. I'm done with that now, so I'm moving that way. But see, it even goes beyond that. What if the 180 changes now to a full circle? Complete. And in the same way that God makes himself known to us in all circumstances, he has in the past. He is right now. And guess what? He's going to tomorrow. That's what he intends for us. So as we're on the cuff of, we just finished up 2025. I got to tell you, hey, 2025, it stunk. It's terrible. Yeah, move on. 26 is going to be better. Maybe not. Let's not just throw away 2025. Everything's great today. Maybe it's not. Maybe things are horrible right now. Where you sit, here in this place. Maybe things stink. I don't know. Tomorrow will be better. Well, or maybe it's this. Let's just deal with today. Don't even worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's got it so. Worry about tomorrow. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, right? I don't think so. I don't think it's an exclusive. What if this is both and? What if this is all three? So what does it look like? Practically. If we want to get practical and we want to glean this scripture out and really apply this to us, what does this look like? All right, so here's where we finally get to the part where you get to fill in your notes. What's it look like? 360 life looks back, and I got to understand, we got to look backwards. It's okay to look back to 2025, and let's appreciate our blessings. 2025 was pretty good. 2025, for every single one of you, was phenomenal. I don't even begin if I can begin to tell you how amazing 2025 was for every single one of you. And here's how I know why. Guaranteed. You're here. You're not dead. We watched this movie last night, and the guy died, and when he did, he made his sons bury him. He put that in his final words, that he wanted his sons to dig his grave. So this guy's digging his dad's grave, and he lays down in the grave for a minute just to see what this has looked like. You're not dead. You're not laying in the dirt, laying in a hole, looking upward. Well, no, you're dead. You're not. You can't. God gave you life. It begins even with that. He gave you one more day to live the blessing that is this amazing life. And what makes this life so amazing? You get to be a part of this Richfield family. Yes, that's great. You get to live in Michigan. You get to experience our seasons. If you're from Michigan, we brag on, we have all 4 seasons, right? No, we don't. We don't even know what season we have. I don't even know what season it is. Did you see it's supposed to be 50-some degrees today and 20-something tomorrow? Michigan can't make up its mind. We don't even know. We have all these seasons to be grateful for. No. You know what we have? We have relationship with Him. You are blessed. And the fact that, if you have not lately, I challenge you, if you want to do something good before the first of the year, don't go through and make New Year's resolutions, because those say, I need to change, I need to change, I need to change. You want to do something healthy? Before you do anything like that, how about you sit down and say, thank you for this and thank you for that, and God bless me, I have this. You write together a Thanksgiving list, and then you pray over that list. Hand that one out. Brag that one on social media and the neighbor person. And the next time you want to sit down and complain and whine about how bad it was, man, wake up. God's got something so much better in store for you that He already proved it to you. It's okay to look back and appreciate our blessings. The second is, let 360 life looks back and learns. In the same way, in James chapter 1, he writes this, consider it pure joy. Pure joy. He writes that in there, even in the midst of the trials, even in the midst of the struggles, consider it pure joy when you face trials, because it produces perseverance. Okay? So you don't just thank Him for the good things, you thank Him for the trial. Thank you, Jesus, for this obstacle that I face. Thank you for this struggle, because through that struggle, you gain perseverance. Now, here's the next link. That perseverance, we're thankful for that perseverance because we learn from it. That perseverance in the very next verse, in James 1, he says, it brings maturity and it makes us complete and lacking nothing. See, that doesn't happen without that perseverance. It's whole, it's complete. The good times, the blessing, the absolute amazing, wonderful, high, top, mountain moments. Yes. but also the lows, the struggles, those touch points when God really shows his power and you're desperate and you're struggling and it demands him. That's where you really enter him into your life and welcome him. And it's in and through, and yes, even for those times that produce perseverance, that we learn from those. See, I'd still be a spiritual infant, a spiritual toddler, if I never faced any struggles. If I never had to deal with any issues in my life, I wouldn't have needed God. And if that were just me, what would my spiritual maturity be if I never had a moment where I ever even needed to have God in my life? It'd be foreign. He would be a foreigner to me. So it's okay. We want to. It's healthy for us to look back. And we learn from it. But 360 Life doesn't just look back. Lynette likes to look at pictures. She loves to look back. Perhaps too much. I'm guilty of this. Perhaps too much. I tell her she often lives in the past. She continually looks back. I don't have the appreciation that she does for it, I'll admit. She appreciates pictures. She appreciates memories. I don't have a memory. My memory's terrible. And I don't have many photos. Even if I saw a picture, I probably can't remember what the picture is even of. I've been shown pictures of time that it was me, and I didn't even know it was me in the photo. So how am I supposed to remember the moment when it was in the photo? My mom's constantly sharing names. Hey, remember so? I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't have that appreciation for looking back. I tend to look at current, but there's value in that looking back. But I tend to look at now, and 360 Life does look now, and we look at our current experiences. Where are we now? And when we do, we're content with it. Are you one of those? And I have definitely been there before. Once in a while, I still am. Usually happens often with pickup trucks for me. I'm not content. Are you content? Are you okay with what the condition is currently? Are you satisfied? Great theologian of our American history sings this, can't get no satisfaction. Remember great theologian Mick Jagger? When he's watching TV, when he's listening to the radio, he just can't seem to be. Everybody's telling him how wonderful it could be, how awesome, and he just can't seem to be satisfied. You ever had those moments where you don't seem satisfied and you reach, you attain, you get whatever it is, and it's there all of a sudden, and I was really hollow. That didn't satisfy me like I thought it would. The verdict's still out on it. I'm pretty excited about it. I had to brag in Sunday school. I bought myself a new watch for Christmas. I was bragging in Sunday school. I got myself a Rolex. Actually, it's not a Rolex. This is a $6 clearance Walmart watch. I know why they're $6, because if you want to resize it, it took me about 45 minutes to figure out how to get the little pin out this to make it the right size. I couldn't decide which one, but they're only $6, right? So I bought 7 of them. So for the next 7 weeks, I'll be walking around intentionally like this with my right sleeve pulled a little tight, walking with a little watch swagger so you can see my 7 watches. And you know what? In 8 weeks, I'll probably be like, I need another watch. I'm like that with tools. I can't seem to get enough DeWalt tools. And when you get a 12 volt, you need a 20. And when you need a 20, you need a 36. And when you get the 2 amp hour battery, then you need the 5. And now I'm up to 12, and I'm just waiting for DeWalt to make a bigger battery than a 12 amp battery. Just can't seem to be content, can we? What if the blessing that he gives is to not give you a single thing? But the blessing is that you're absolutely okay with that. You know, all kidding aside, Mick Jagger, it represents us well. We can't seem to find any satisfaction. We just can't seem to be okay with it. Paul says this in Philippians 4. He says, I know what it is to be in need. He's experienced it. I know what it is to have plenty. But here's the key. I've learned the secret to being content in every situation. I like that. I've seen both, and we have. I believe you've seen both. All of us have seen both. We know nothing, and we know excess. But do we know what it means to be content? Similar or hand in hand, though, with being content is, do you accept your circumstances? So we got to glance around for a moment, and I understand content is not just about things. Your circumstances may just stink. I'm sorry. I don't mean I'm sorry as in I did that, but my heart goes out to you. And I think that's just part of mercy and compassion that we experience in Christian living, us for one another. Our hearts kind of hurt a little bit when someone else's heart hurts. Am I right? And you might be the one that's, I'm the recipient of your heart hurt. Because my situation stinks. I'm struggling. Or maybe it's just something, it's just not seemed to break. And it just seems to go on. And it's everything just seems to be, and you just wish you could be done with 2025. And you can't wait for it to be over. But Matthew says it this way. He reminds us, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Sometimes we just have to accept it. Worrying about it is not going to help. Complaining about it is not going to help. We just have to accept it sometimes. And you know, with acceptance, it's not just, okay, fine, I accept it, and I stop whining about it. What if we reverted back, like we just spoke a moment ago, to it, the whining about it, the struggle, the pain, the hurt? And I don't mean to discount it, because I've been through some stuff myself, and I've earned some of my whining. But there's a point where God says, okay, your whining has actually become you sharing the burden, or you taking on the burden on your own shoulders, what I already promised you that I would take for you. You don't have to keep caring about that. I'm good. You came to the altar and I invited you there. But I also invited you to leave it at that altar. So as soon as you get up from the altar, run around, turn back, and go pick it up again, and then bring it back the following week. Sometimes we have to accept these things. And Mark, in Matthew, he reminds us it's okay to just leave it alone. Worrying about it's not going to help. Or Paul, that same letter that we just read just a minute ago, Paul writes it this way: don't be anxious. There's a little difference in here. Sometimes worry seems like it's like we're non-believers or less believers. But to be anxious about something, that's kind of different. I get a little anxious sometimes. Give me a little medicine once in a while, or give me something to relax, or just do something calming and soothing. No, do you realize that anxiety taken too far, anxiety out of control, goes against God's very character of who He is and what He intends to do in your life? He intends that you don't have to be anxious. That's why I am here. You don't have to deal with this. That's why I sent my Son. You don't have to struggle with this, because that's why I'm here with you. Not from a distance. I'm right there among you. It's why my Spirit is with you. That's why He chose to be who He is, so dynamic in His character. Don't be anxious about it, but instead pray about it. Well, that seems noble and righteous. Yes, let's just pray about it. There's a different kind of prayer here, though, that he's describing, and not just bringing our needs to Him. See, when we struggle with it, let's take this need to Him, and let's take this need to Him, and take this need to Him. But actually, he says to do so with prayer and petition and thanksgiving. Even in the midst of the struggle, hey, we're right back at it again. It's not just about, oh, here's my need. I'm hurting. It stinks. My circumstances are awful. It's also thanksgiving, even in the midst of, and yes, for the struggle. So we accept our circumstances, but then, okay, at some point, let's move on, let's look forward. 360 life, it moves ahead. 360 life now embraces opportunities. Do you see opportunities? Do you look forward? Are you stuck in the past? Thankful for that moment. There's a lot of churches. The churches themselves, as an organization, are often stuck in the past, celebrating those moments. Even in our faith and our teaching, sometimes I feel like I'm going to get crazy here. I don't want to sound like a heretic, but I believe we get stuck in our theology sometimes. Stuck in the past. Or stuck in that back there. I'm thankful for, like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm thankful for 2025, but that doesn't mean that I don't need 26 or 27 or 29. You ready for this? I'm about to get real crazy here. I am so thankful that Jesus came in that manger, and I'm thankful that he died on that cross, and I celebrate that cross. I celebrate that cross. But that wasn't the end of the story. We can't just celebrate your conversion. We can't just celebrate one new name written in the book of life. Yay, I celebrate. I'm so stinking happy about that, yes. But now what? You're not just a box to be checked off of saved. All right, done. Heading on to the next person. No. We're a holiness denomination. We believe in life transformed. We believe in growth, in maturing, a continuation, opportunities that are now ahead of us. Amen, Jesus, thank you for coming and dying on that cross. But Jesus came so that you could now live a life for him. He came so that every day you could be renewed. So that the way you look today looks far different tomorrow. Amen. Thank you for dying on the cross and thank you for the resurrection. But we don't just celebrate that first birth. We celebrate the second birth and the third birth. And I celebrate what I look like 20 years later in my salvation journey. We have to embrace opportunities. We have to be looking ahead. Paul spoke of it this way. Not that I've attained anything or reached my goal. No, he says it this way. I press on to take hold of that which Jesus took hold of me. I press on, I move, I press on. And even when Paul was in chains, when he's in prison, can't seem to do anything. All right, I'm done. Well, wrap this one up. Nope, he still saw opportunities. How do you see opportunity when you're in jail? He serves a bigger God than those around him that wouldn't have believed. So we embrace our opportunities. And last, I think, is this. 360 life looks ahead and it anticipates obstacles. Guess what? 2026, you're going to have some struggle points. If that's foreign to you, or if I took you off guard, I apologize. But brace yourself. Stuff's going to happen. In fact, Jesus himself said this. We read it in John chapter 16. He says, in this world, you will have troubles. It's a fact. You're going to have troubles. And if you're living in this relationship with God because if I just trust him, my troubles will go away, you are seeking the wrong God. That's not who he chooses to be. That is not who he is. Because if he makes it all go away, you don't need him. If it all goes away and you don't need him, here's the way that God chooses to look at it. He wants relationship with you. That's why he made you and why he made you in his image. He desires you. He wants to be with you. He wants time with you. I'm not saying he's looking for struggles in your life just so he can spend time with you, but he wants to be with you always. He wants you to long for him. We had a special day yesterday. It was just Lynette and I. It's the first day that we can even remember in a long time that we had the whole day, that we didn't have to work. We didn't have any agendas. We didn't have to wake up for anything. We didn't have anything that we needed to accomplish. I love my kids, but I also love it when my kids are gone. Hayden, I love you, son. I'll buy you lunch, and that'll make it all feel better, I guarantee. There's just something intimate, right? If you don't know what I'm talking about in your marriage, I recommend our marriage class that you need to get into. We need intimacy. He wants closeness. He wants personal connection with us. And that's healthy. And that's good. He desires that. So anticipate, no, there's going to be troubles. But here's the promise that he gives us. Know that you're going to have troubles, but take heart. I have overcome. Before you had the obstacle, before the struggle, I already had a solution for it. I haven't implemented it. I already knew. In fact, I already knew what your obstacle was going to be. In fact, I knew how you were going to respond. Man, that was a stupid move you made. But I knew you were going to do it. And I already had a plan B. Welcome to grace. Right? So now what? Wrap it up. Land this plane. Bring it home. Now what? It's okay to look back on 2025 and learn from it. Celebrate. Be blessed. Be thankful for the joys and even in the struggles that God brought you through. 2025, 2024, a journey that began a long time ago that you're still on. It's all right to look back. 360 looks back. But it's healthy to look around. Take your eyes off for a minute and look around. My wife seems to specialize in being on her phone, watching a movie, having a conversation with me, and somehow eating a snack, all simultaneous. I've learned if you really want to challenge that, speak to her with signs and speak to her non-verbally. Oh, that really messes it up because now she can't see me, she can't hear, and she can't see. Take your eyes off for a moment. Look around. It's okay. And as you look around, as you see, this is all right. Be content with what you see. Be grateful for what you have. Trust God that, okay, this does not look so well over here, but know that you don't have to worry about this. This is not a struggle point because God's got this covered over here. He's well aware. It's all right to look around. But if you really want to have a 360 life, then get excited about opportunities. Anticipate looking forward, opportunities that he has in store for you. Be ready for some struggles, yes. But rest in knowing that he's already got a plan for those, that he's already prepared a resolution for those. You ever hear the phrase, Jesus never promised to calm every storm, but he did promise that he would see you through every storm. If you're looking for him to just remove every obstacle, Iowa's pretty boring. That makes sense? If you want life to look like Iowa, God bless Iowa. If you've ever driven out west, Nebraska's not too much to look at either. I was born in Colorado. If my retirement, I think, will end in Colorado or maybe Montana or with my brother or Wyoming. It's just a far different landscape. He promises to carry you through anything. So who knows? What's 2026 going to look like? I guarantee you this, it's going to look exactly as he intends it. Let's pray. Thank you, Jesus, for 2025. Thank you for my past. Thank you for the highs, the lows that I've experienced. Yes, Lord, I'm thanking you for the struggles that I've had, because with every struggle that I've had, I thank you that I'm still here, that I survived, that I didn't just make it through, but I thrived, and it went well, it went great, it went awesome, because it went exactly according to the way you wanted. Thank you for all that I am now, who I am, all that I have here now in this place. Now, Jesus, create in me passion. Give me a drive. Give me an excitement for what my future holds. Jesus, I want the kingdom to grow in and through me. I want to be a blessing to you. I want to find my blessing for me in the way that I can bless others, because that's what you did. That's what you choose for my life. I want your name to be glorified. I want you to open my eyes, Lord, to possibilities. I want you to reveal to me. Prepare me, Lord, for things that are going to come my way, obstacles I may face. Prepare me, Lord. Equip me. But Lord, in all this, these highs, these lows, everything you have in store, the possibilities, the opportunities, Lord, I just want to bring you glory. I just want you to be known more. And Lord, if that means a little less of me and more of you, God, begin that now. Begin that in my life. Continue it in my life in the way you already have. And all God's people said, amen. Thanks for being with us. You are dismissed.